This video is going to be a sort of an introduction to the cell cycle. The cell cycle is a series of events considered basically to be the lifetime of a cell, which is of course why I included this lovely Lion King picture of the circle of life. It is literally the circle of life for a cell. All cells right now. Basically, the lifetime of a cell is going to include a cell growing, preparing for division, and ultimately dividing into two new daughter cells, and those new daughter cells will carry out their own life cycles. As we have been doing, just like we did with the chromosomes, we can talk about prokaryote versus eukaryotic cell cycles. Prokaryotes, the cell cycle occurs relatively rapidly. When we talked about asexual reproduction, we know that prokaryotes only go through asexual reproduction. We know that asexual reproduction is relatively fast. Most prokaryotes copy their DNA basically when they've reached a certain size, and we talked about why size is an issue in our introduction to division video. And basically right after copying DNA, it'll pretty much divide. And again, it is asexual reproduction for prokaryotes, and we call this binary fission. Let's think about what that sounds like to us. We should know that bi, that prefix means two, and fission is associated with splitting, as in nuclear fission. So here, this literally means basically splitting into two, and this sort of graphic sort of shows you the process of that. The eukaryotic cell cycle is obviously incredibly more involved than that, and of course, because we are primarily interested in our own body cells, we're going to study the eukaryotic cell cycle a little bit more. There are two main parts to the eukaryotic cell cycle. There's interphase, which is basically the growth period. It is everything except division. And then mitosis is cell division. So this is one way to draw the cell cycle, where all that is pink is interphase, and this small portion over here in purple is mitosis. And so a cell in interphase is basically what we've been studying in terms of what a cell looks like since the beginning of the course. So it has its regular nucleus, all of its activities are happening, it's doing cellular respiration. If it does photosynthesis, it's doing photosynthesis, all of those things. So these are mostly cells in interphase. You can see a nucleus, it's well-rounded, it has a nuclear envelope, you can see the nucleolus possibly relatively clearly. So this present of a large circular central nucleus is a big thing to recognize cells in interphase. You can see that several of these other cells here are in interphase.